Okay. I'm back. Sorry, I'm back. Just a second here. We had a little technical difficulty because somebody was at the door. And hold a second, I think he's just coming in now. My apologies for that little delay, but let's just have a big warm welcome for my guest. Okay, he's here. He was at the door. I had to let him in. I didn't realize it was locked, but here he is.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot. I control it.
Aaron, you have a button.
I have a button. Mark, how's it going?
I'm good. I got to turn you up. There we go.
I'm going to turn you up as well. I had a little technical difficulties there at the beginning.
You know what? Best laid plans, man.
Oh, if you want to
test it all day long.
If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, right?
Hold on, I got to test audio. It'll be perfect when we go on live.
That's right. I remember just before doing my infomercial, before doing my showstopper, testing the butter knife that I was going to use on a knife sharpener. And didn't I accidentally pick up a sharp one? I ran it across my finger and cut myself right before I went on air. And
man, there's a long day.
And I did it to test it to make sure it was dull. And guess what? It wasn't.
Needs a little more work.
Yeah. So, Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, Larry. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm embracing the insanity. I'm embracing the insanity. You're in your backyard.
I am in my backyard. We're lucky enough not to have to deal with January, February anymore. I was gonna complain about it was a little chilly. I was gonna run and go from my short sleeve to a long sleeve just to toast up a little bit. Yes. But I'm sure a lot of your viewers are in Ontario.
However, yes, and being born in Saskatchewan, I know a little different too.
That's right.
Speaking of which,
I've acclimated.
Yes,
those days are long gone. I'd be in a corner.
Like
crying.
This is where you do your marks on the grill in your own backyard.
Yes, actually, the set is right over there. There we go.
Wow.
All the barbecues and doodads and all that fun stuff.
Thanks.
But there's no chair.
That's so awesome.
I'm doing this from here.
I've watched the show so many times. I must admit, many of the dishes you make, my cardiologist says I cannot eat.
I'm telling you, we feed a lot of neighbors.
Yeah, I bet you do.
A lot of neighbors.
Is that what happens?
We can't eat what we cook here.
Really? They come over for a scoff?
We call it hands over the fence.
Oh, okay.
So the people in our neighborhood and kind of within walking and driving range, if they know we're live, and we call it a hands over the fence.
That's awesome.
Then during the broadcast, we'll look over and they'll just be hands that show up over the fence, and we put burgers in them, or a steak in them,
right,
or a sandwich.
Well, because some of those dishes, man, it's not cheap food you're cooking. You're cooking ribs and steaks, and tomahawk steaks, and this
lots
is all
of stuff.
Food.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, we pack up some for the neighbors, and then my wife Trish, who runs the camera when we go live and on HSN, she found a really great thing. It's like a foster care program, and they take the food and they disperse it to all these families who take in foster kids and can really can use the food.
Nice.
So that's I tip my hat to her for finding that. So we've done that the last few times. We actually just did a TS. From our house here. TS is for the uninitiated, today's special. That's your today's special value. So I choose not to cut myself right before a 24-hour shift.
Here.
Yes, exactly. Showstopper. So again, if you don't cut yourself before the 24-hour shift, it goes by a lot smoother. At the end of this one, I mean, we had cooked, oh my goodness, like 20 some ribeye steaks and I think 2 or 3 gallons of turkey a la king and all kinds of pork and salmon. And you're like, it's just, you look at this food and you're like, you got to do something with it. So everybody enjoyed it this time around. We were really, really lucky, really fortunate.
Well, listen, I would have been down a lot sooner had, the world not gone upside down because...
oh, is something happening?
Yeah, there's all the barber shops are closed and nobody knows why,
I was just thinking, you look like my favorite Disney villain, and
Yes.
I can't quite place it.
Yeah, they don't know why, but you can't get a haircut anywhere. And
Weird.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I haven't noticed.
Maybe that's why. Yes. So, Mark, being from Saskatchewan, how did a small town lad like yourself from Saskatchewan end up at the CNE where I met you, right? I met you at the CNE.
Yeah.
And then
Yes,
from there, and I want to talk about the CNE as well, and then from there, of course, Shopping Channel, and then down to Florida on HSN with, I don't know how many times your face is on products now. How many products? Do you know?
A few dozen.
A few dozen. Yeah, I think more than that.
None as prominent as that one in your hand.
Yeah,
they gave me
I'm going to tell you
actual real estate on that one.
Listen, if you don't mind, I want to bring this up because I was selling grill mats before you ever did an infomercial, right? And you phoned me up and you asked me what I thought of the product, and I told you I loved it. And then one day, after me selling thousands and thousands and working, I don't mind telling you, 12-hour days, setting up, tearing down, setting up, tearing down, selling thousands, you did it once. And they put your puss on the page. So my question to you, Mark, is how do you think that made me feel? No, wait a second. No, that's not my question. My question is, how does that make you feel? That was my question.
They said they sent the invite out to both of us for the photo shoot. They needed a goofy grin from either one of us, and you never showed.
I
so
probably
I
was
didn't check
fumbling.
your email that day.
Yeah, I was probably fumbling like the beginning of this. So I think that's probably what happened.
You were testing the camera.
Yeah, but anyway, I honestly, when that truck came and delivered to my warehouse, I don't know, 5,000 grill mats, and I opened it up because I knew your face was going to be up, and I opened it up. I phoned you right away, or I texted you right away a picture of the box, and so that was fun.
That's hysterical.
But it is.
So this started with a question. What was it?
I don't know what the question was. The question was, what's it like walking into a store and seeing your face on pictures, on products?
I will give you you know what? I have a fun story from that one. I was in a hurry one day. This is a true story. And I had to grab there was a prescription or a layaway of something, a product came in, something like that. And I ran home and I grabbed everything except my ID. And I get to the store and I go to pick this thing up, and they said, "You need ID." I'm like, I don't have, and I didn't have time to run home. And this was at a point where I think I had 6 or 7 products on the shelf that had my mug on them. So I was like, "Hold on a sec." And I ran to their As Seen on TV aisle, and I walked up with 5 or 6 products. I said, "Is this okay?"
That's funny. And they said, "Okay," right?
Well, my name's right there.
I should hope so. That's right. Yeah. But Mark, seriously, tell me about the journey from how old were you when you left Saskatchewan, and how did you end up at the CNE? What were pictures on T-shirts? Was it?
When you go to these tourist places now, and you get your face put in the other bodies, and you're a swimsuit model, or you're like a hockey player or something. Back then, that you couldn't just do it on your phone like you can now. It was a pretty big system.
Sure.
So had one of those things, and that's kind of what got me going in these trade shows coast to coast. That's what brought me out to the CNE. So it was you that put
your own picture on here, right?
Yes, that started as you.
Yes.
And then I put me in it.
Yes. Okay.
So I was very upset.
Very
upset.
Good. Yeah.
So I got it right before I printed. So I had, that's how I got into that. Okay, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's a big jump from just selling pictures to like pitching all this stuff.
Yes.
So what had happened was I was rolling into Yorkton, Saskatchewan to do these pictures. And as I'm sitting there setting up outside, which I never do, I had bought a tent. Usually I'm into computer stuff. Why do I want to be outside? Yeah. Plus they're open later. I'm tired, right? So I'm setting up this picture booth. And as I'm doing that, like 3 and 4 other picture booths drive in, and I'm like, it's going to be a long week. So I sold the tent I had just bought, and I hit the road again, right? So this is, when is this? 1998, 99, wow. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. At the time, the only other show that was on was the Calgary Stampede, which I couldn't do because somebody else was in there with it. So I started calling. I called like the only guy I knew in the business, and he said, "Yeah, come on into the Stampede. We'll put you to work, no problem." So I drive out there, and he hands me these little fire starters.
Oh, yes.
I start doing that. You know the deal.
Sure.
You know the people. You know the players.
Yes.
Right. So I ended up doing that for a while, and then the fellow that I did that with was working at HSN. In down there in Florida. I'm living in Saskatchewan still. And I mean, I can't speak for everybody in this business, but I mean, the goal for me is, it was always to sell on TV. I mean, what are you doing this for if to not sell on TV, right? So, I had an opportunity to go cover an airing for him with a cleaning product and never looked back. So, had some success up here, and then they shut down me in the whole cleaning department, and they moved me into the kitchen category. And, yeah, kind of the rest there's from history.
I remember at the C&E, you on your picture booth. I remember you had, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you have your own little personal air conditioning unit?
You guys were crazy, man. It's like 100, and you got to be kidding me, degrees, a tin roof in Regina, and you guys are just sitting there sweating. You'd see heads drop in like in little crowds watching pitches, right?
Well,
so I'm like, I'm not doing this. So I set up a booth where you'd be on a corner, right? And then I would have another 2 walls, and then a tiny little door, and then in the back, I had my own little air conditioner and my fridge.
I remember.
I'll be back here if anybody wants me.
I remember visiting you at your booth, and I took a look down because I noticed things, and I went, "What the hell?" Like, I was looking for the bed. You moved in.
You know what? I figured if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be comfortable doing it.
Well, yes, no kidding. And Mark, listen, I know you and I both have had a lot of products under our belt. So trying to pick this could be real. Trying to pick one is not easy because you and I have had our fingers on some of the best, hottest products going. And it's like children, it's like who's your favorite child? You can't pick who your favorite child is. You like them all, but for different reasons, right? But having said that, what products, and it doesn't have to be one, it could be several, what products stand out that you've sold that you think about?
Yeah. One's tough. However, I think if I look back over the last, 15 or 20 years to going from, kind of doing door-to-door sales to, on a booth at a show, and then, as got a little bit more exposure and a little bit more limelight, getting, some of the bigger brands. So I think there's like different chunks of time where I can pull favorite items.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like for the longest time, I got to tell you, there was that little fire starter that I would sell. I mean, that thing was 10, 12 years. That was like a safety net. That thing, no matter what went wrong.
Yes.
You can go make some money with this little fire starter.
The fire starter was my anti-glare,
crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. It was just, like I said, safety net. And then for infomercials, I think, I've had some nice successes.
Was it perfect taco?
Part of the perfect
was
lineup.
It perfect pancake?
the perfect tortilla. I will say, though, that the first time you see your face on a box is a big thrill. So I think Slice-O-Matic.
Oh, the Slice-O-Matic, yes.
Slice-O-Matic from that kind of time period where it was all infomercial products. And then on TV, wow, Ronco holds a special place without a doubt.
Like
Blackstone.
Listen, back
was
for a
great.
moment before I forget Ron Popeil. Tell me about Ron Popeil.
Oh man. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest thrills for me. Like I would say that if I can pinpoint the kind of the moment when I wanted to get into this business, I had bought the rotisserie, right? Yes. I'm sitting there, right, and this was like 2001, 2000. I was 21, 22, something like that. So, this is like mid-90s. So I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, he's like, you should buy this thing because you're going to cook these amazing dishes. And I'm like, you're right. And then he's like, you should get more because your friends would like them. And I'm like, you're right, because I had just gotten my brand new shiny credit card for the first time in my whole life, and I maxed that sucker out. And I bought 9 or 10 of these machines, and I gave them away as gifts and all that stuff. But I will say that machine kind of gave me my first little foothold into not only an appreciation for cooking, but an appreciation for the applause that comes with a good meal.
Yes.
And that, I would say, so that kind of got me. And I remember sitting on my couch going, you know what? Can you imagine making a living doing that? Wouldn't that be cool? So now let's fast forward 25 years later, almost to the day,
Yes.
and I'm in Las Vegas. I'm a few months into actually taking over as the pitchman role for Ronco,
Yes.
which was a big thrill. And then I get a text on my phone. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, from Ron Popeil, and I've never met the man. Right, and he says, Mark, I've heard a lot about you. Would you mind coming to see me? And he sends a car to where was I? The Wynn, and he's on one of the top floors of the area. Right,
Yes.
like dude didn't have like a suite, like the little junior suite,
Yes.
where I could see the bed from the fridge area.
Yes.
Right, this guy's balcony spans my whole house.
Wow.
Right, so I walk in and I meet him, and I'm trying not to do this guy's the reason I'm in this holding game, right? And he wanted my honest opinion on a new product he'd been working on, and at the end of it, it was basically a 30-minute private infomercial pitch from Ron Popeil on his new product. So
Wow.
if you're coming from the background I came from and the launching pad I came from, I mean that's
like a pocket
seriously?
fisherman and everything that he's
I'm
done,
good.
right? Which was
Yeah,
iconic.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can see that being like that would do it for me too.
That was a pretty big thrill.
That
was a pretty big
thrill. I think for me being getting on the shopping channel for me was kind of a struggle because it was never one of my desires. I don't know why, it just wasn't. I was asked to do it. And I did it, and it was so much more fun than I thought. But I think when I knew the rules. When Joan Rivers was there, I knew don't bother them, right? Walk past the dressing room, even if the door is open, you don't look in, you don't say hi. And I was doing the knife sharpener. As I walked by, Joan Rivers calls out, says, "Hey, you, knife sharpener guy." Right?
I love it.
So now I got permission, to stop. She calls me in and she says, just like anyone else would ask, does that thing really work? And I said, yes, it does. And she said, I want to buy one. And I didn't know what the policy was. And I was afraid to do anything wrong, but I did. I said to her, listen, I really don't want to take your money. I'd rather just give you one.
Hey, don't forget to get the tax.
Yeah,
because you got to eat that.
If
you give her a deal, Larry, you got to eat that.
Yeah, well, anyway, I gave her one. She traded me some leg cream, right? And it was just, we bartered the system. But I had an opportunity to speak with her for a good 20 minutes, twice. And we talked about comedy, and we talked about Howie Mandel and common interests and stuff, and that was a super treat for me, And since then, I mean, just meeting the guest, the hosts of the shopping channel was a treat for me.
I think I was there very early on in your first few shows, and I remember. I mean, you get giddy as can be. I mean, you're like me, first time walking into HSN. It's like that's your Disneyland.
Yes.
Like we're good now. This is the coolest place I've ever, and I get to be on TV.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I remember seeing you a year later at the shopping channel, and you said to me, "Have you ever had any of your airings canceled?" And I said, "No." And then you said, "We haven't been on long enough."
Right? Yeah, you have not been on long.
That's right.
Yeah, buckle in.
Buckle in. And so I got to what was some other questions. So when COVID hit, that was why the barbershops were closed. When COVID hit, did you miss a beat, or did it take time to transition to your backyard setup and because you're doing everything from home?
Yeah, like our biggest concern when COVID hit was HSN, the Home Shopping Network,
Yes.
our version of the shopping channel. And I think we are almost a year to the day. We mark when this whole thing went off by our girl's birthday. That was kind of the last I think that was the last time we left the house. Well,
Yeah.
it was March the 12th
That's right.
of last year.
Day before the National
It's
Home
coming
Show.
up again.
Yep.
Right. And I remember contacting HSN and going over the concerns with this, everybody going to it all happened so fast. Every day something new was getting canceled. This was no longer acceptable. This was too dangerous. This kind of environment was, so everybody was really trying to figure it out quickly. So there was a little bit of a gap there where there was some real uncertainty over how we were going to proceed, because going into a studio, if you watch any of the late night guys or news hosts or anything, that ended almost immediately. So there was a real inherent danger with that kind of contact for that amount of time, with that kind of, so they really like hit it out of the park with the way they handled things. They immediately moved everything to home-based Skype airings, and I think the viewer is just loving it. I think they think it's wonderful to be able to see, a lot of what we do from home, especially in categories like cooking and household products and things like that, because studios are great because the environments are controlled and honestly everybody else is doing most of the work.
Yes.
But there are a few things that you take it for granted here that you don't have in a studio. And one, just the simplest one, is running water out of a sink. For whatever reason, the studios don't have running water, whether it's who knows why.
Right.
They just don't. So when you're talking about cleaning a pan or this or that, you kind of
got to go down to the kitchen. You got to, yes.
Right, because if I'm about to clean something in the studio, trust me, it's gonna get clean, right? Nothing's gonna get left to chance when I'm cleaning that pan.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure I do it right or keep doing it. But if I do it at home, I have an actual sink, and just that little connection is connecting a lot of. It's not connecting the dots. We do we do it out of necessity, but I think there's a lot of happy in our business anyway. A lot of happy results that have come out of this particular necessity. And for us,
when you're doing your backyard barbecue, I enjoy the candidness of it all.
Yes.
And I think
now
it's the dog. The dog could be coming on the set, right? Or
well, now if the dogs and the chickens were coming out on the set on HSN,
yes.
I would get an email.
That's right.
But Mark's on the Grill, which is our online show,
it's great,
right? Y'all are lucky I'm wearing pants. I can do whatever I want out there. Let's bring on the chickens, man. Watch what I can do with the chicken and the grill.
Yeah, and no, listen. I love the show. I love watching it. Trish does a great job at filming, and she seems to.
She's incredible.
She anticipates your every move, which I appreciate.
Dude,
because from a professional point of view, she knows what you're going to do next.
I'm a nightmare. Listen, I can't tell who's watching, who's not. But if there's any of the camera guys from HSN or anybody that know, if I've been told to do anything other than calm the hell down, it's stop moving so fast. Yeah. I got really good at going. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here. Now I'm going to go over there because I just get off on these flights. So when you've got the trained cameraman looking at you going. Dude,
yes, yeah.
Right?
Or them putting
putting
up their hand and going, "This is the camera that's on now." Right? Yeah.
Right. So now I'm going to take my calm, zen, sweet massage therapist wife and throw her into this world, right?
Yes.
And don't have enough respect for her to tell her, no, keep up. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I got to tell you, she's a lot of people are doing like stationary cameras, which is great for their category and stuff. But for me and the way I do shows, there's no way in the world that we would have been able to do the quality of shows that we're doing, whether it's HSN or out in the back on our online show, without the fact that she picked up on that just so naturally. The smooth movement and the close-ups, and no one wanted to get me the hell out of the sunlight because I'm ruining the shot.
Yeah,
damn it!
Right. Well, you know what, Mark? We normally I give 10 minutes. I went way over with you, and honest to God, I could do an hour show with you, and one day I want to. Of course,
we'll set it up.
I got to speak to your agent, of course, first, because
I saw that. You're going to get yourself in trouble, man. That was a lot of back and forth in public.
I'm not going to use his name, but I did explain to him, it's not a real show, and
I have a few of those myself.
But he's awesome. He's probably one of the funniest
Yes, he
guys.
is.
When I came down to visit, my last little story, that I want you to tell one more story. Before iPads were ever in Canada, of course, they were in the United States first. And I came down to meet you and your agent and at the office, and then you took me shopping, and this wasn't planned, and you peer pressured me into buying an iPad. Like, already I had to alibi to Norman that I'm flying down like a big shot, you know, to see Mark and his agent. And now I'm going to come home with a $1,000 iPad that isn't even out in Canada. But you took me to the mall, and I can't say to you, Mark, I don't have that kind of money. So I bought it. You know, I'm still paying for it on my credit card. Okay, just so you know. I don't know how many years ago that was, 20 years ago or something. But
it was interest free.
Yeah, that's great. I think the iPad still thinks I live in the States. I forget what address we put on it, but whenever I'm trying to buy stuff from the store, it goes, "You don't live in Canada." but
here's a Hulu subscription.
That's right, Mark. Is there any last minute words to everybody?
Gee, what?
Yeah, come on, think of something.
I can't. What, I would like to motivate people? The only thing on my mind was, what's the latest and greatest you've done in your sous vide?
Oh,
we share a passion.
Oh, by far, it was a tomahawk steak.
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
how'd you do the bone?
Well, it's in the bag. You know. No, listen. I bought a big tank now, but but no, you can put it in the. But here's the thing with the tomahawk steak. Like, the whole benefit, they say, to sous vide is that you can buy the cheapest cut of meat and make it good, right? Like, that's
yes.
Well,
there's a follow-up to that, though.
So I says to myself, Larry, what if you took the most expensive piece of meat?
Yeah, you're onto something.
So that was by far the best, medium rare, perfect. And then, of course, you still get to sear it, you know, on the barbecue at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And now, do you ever use, by the way, mayo to sear things? Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Yes. Tell people why that's good.
Because it's oil based. I mean, you're gonna get that crust, and it's yes.
Better than butter.
There he
called me just now. He was on my show. I've had Bob King. I've had Leanna from Florida. She was on the show. Steve Smith. So that's the three, you know. I've had those three on my show. And they are very well known, of course, in the industry. You, though, sir, are very well known in the industry and outside the industry. And that's why this was a special treat for you to say yes. So thank you.
Oh, man. Anytime.
Okay, well, we'll do it again. And Mark, listen, if you got 1 more minute, I'm going to open up the card. I want you to be with me to see who wins this. Okay? Because I checked, I called the contest was closed at 3:45. There was no more entries. So I took a peek while you and I were doing our test. And the winning card, we only have one winner. And the winning card, if you chose the 2 of diamonds, you won yourself a Marc Gill grill mat. There he is. Well, let's put them side by side. Yeah, close enough. And the winner, and I know it's Heidi Fisher. So Heidi Fisher, PM me, DM me, whatever it's called. Yay to Heidi Fisher. We'll get this out in the mail to you. Mark, love you like a brother, and thank you for nice to see you again. Everybody say goodbye to Mark.
Nice to see you.
Take care. Bye.